Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all in day 28 of internship program on IoT project development using industry grade microcontroller. Yesterday, we saw how to interact with AWS IoT using different clients. One of the client was ESP8266 MQTT box and the default client of test client AWS IoT. We sent some data and received at different clients. We also sent data from MQTT box received at default client of AWS IoT. Also received that same data into ESP8266. We observed that data on serial monitor. So we also saw that how we can create different things in AWS IoT console. We downloaded the certificates. We added those credentials into ESP8266 code in secret.h file. So we saw how to exchange data using MQTT protocol. So today what we are going to do, we are going to control ESP8266 LED and also we are going to send serial data to the different clients using ESP8266. So let's start. So first thing we will do is we'll open Arduino IDE and then we will start from the beginning. We will do this entire project from scratch so that everyone can understand it better, how to do all the things to create one single project. So to create a thing on AWS IoT, we have to go to this console AWS IoT. If you don't find it, just search it here, IoT, and simply select on IoT core. We'll find this user interface. After that, go to manage, go to things, and here you can see we already have created one thing, internship IoT. So what we will do, we will create new thing because we are creating a new project. So just select this one, create single thing, give whatever name you want to give. I will just simply put as ESP8266 control. Okay, I will give name to this thing as this one, ESP8266 control. And after this, we do not need to change anything. Just put keep all things as default. Okay. Just simply click next and choose this option. Do not select any other options. If you are expert in the AWS IoT, you can go with the other options available. But if you are a beginner, just select this first option and click next. After this, we are not attaching any policies over here because there is one issue with this AWS IoT console. If you create policy over here and try to attach it, you will not find this menu again. So your thing will not be created. So simply skip this part and click on create thing. Later, we will create the policy and we will attach it to the certificate. So simply click on create thing. And very important part after creating thing that you have to download device certificate, which is also called client certificate, and the private key and the root CS certificate, server authentication certificate. So these things are required. This server authentication certificate, which is 2048-bit key. After that, private key and device certificate. These two certificates are mandatory to download. That's why we are going to download this public key, but we are not going to use this because we don't need this one. So simply we will download this one. Then I will download this one, public key, and do not forget to download, which is very important. This certificate is very important. Just check that it is activated. Currently it shows deactivate certificate. That means it is already activated. Simply download it. Okay, so you can see that we have downloaded 4 certificates. I'll just simply close this and then click on done. So we have created thing, but all the procedure or steps are not completed yet because we have to attach policy to the certificate so that we can define this thing can be able, what our clients can be able to do with this thing. Okay, so we have to define the authorities. So there are two policies already created. What we'll do, we create new policy here. So give them whatever name you want to give. I will give ESP policy. ESP policy, and here just type IoT, IoT. You will see the fields. Okay, you can see here IoT subscribe, connect, receive, publish. Just simply what we'll do, we'll select the first option, which is IoT colon star. That means we are allowing our clients to do all the options available, which is publish, connect, receive, subscribe. All the options we are seeing in this list, we are able to do if we select this asterisk sign, star sign. Okay, and after this, resource ARN will not understand what does it mean. Will simply keep it star. If you want to learn more about resource ARN, you can uh, download the documentation and read it into AWS documentation of resource ARN. So simply put the star sign here and effect as allow. So we have created this policy. Using this policy, our clients can be able to connect with this thing, subscribe to it, publish to it, receive from it. Okay, all these options are available. We can do with this policy because we have added this star signs. So star sign means nothing but we are allowing to do everything, all the possible things available. So simply create. Click on this create, and we have created this ESP policy. If you open this policy, you will be able to see all the details here. Okay. So from here you also can edit the policy again. So effect is allowed. Action is IoT. You are allowed to do all the things using the star, and the resources again star. So we'll just leave it. Now you can see here certificates. We do not have attached this policy to the certificate date. So that is the reason it is not showing any certificate over here. So after creating policy, this policy, go to certificates, and you can see here this certificate. Okay. If you want to see which certificate is related to which thing you have created in things, you can see there are two things, and also there are two certificates, but it is difficult to tell which certificate is connected with which thing. So simply if you want to find out what thing your certificate is connected to, simply click on it, and you can see all the details of this certificate. The create thing, effective date, expiration date, the policies. We have not attached any policy to this certificate yet, and the things. So this certificate is related to ESP8266 control, the thing we recently created. So what we will do now? We will just simply attach the policy. To attach policy, click here and scroll down and see here option attach policy. Simply click on it, and then a list will appear. From that list, select the policy you want to attach. So we have created this policy, and we will attach this policy. Okay. Successfully attach the policy. After that, simply attach the thing. So few months back, by default to the certificate, things are not attached. Now you can see, even though we have not attached this thing manually, but it is already by default attached. Okay, so few months back you have to attach it manually. So this is done. We have created thing. Everything is done on this AWS IoT console. So we'll just go to things now. We'll open this console. Okay. After this, I will open AWS IoT console. So this is the same code yesterday we have worked with. So, but there are few changes I have made. I will explain those changes and then we will move further. So first change is, you can see here I have changed the subscribe topic, you can see here, and the publish topic is this one. So in yesterday's code, you can see that the subscribe topic and publish topic was the same. So in this today's session, I have changed this. Next is everything else is same. Okay, I will mention the changes. After this, I will first go to while loop. In while loop, we are sending data from this. Okay, we are calling from here send data. You can see that in this loop, I have applied this condition. If serial.available is greater than 0, that means if we have received any data into serial buffer, then call this function. And after calling this function, what we are doing, whatever data is available into serial buffer, we are reading that data. Okay? You can see after calling this function, we have created this JSON document. Okay, I will explain that also. Before that, you can see that after calling the function, we are reading data, whatever data which is available in the buffer of serial register, serial buffer. The serial dot read string, and we are storing that data into string your data. Then what I will do, I will open yesterday's code also, so we can understand it. So we will compare these two codes. So here we can see, so we have read the data from the buffer. I will open the other code. You can see here, instead of, I will first go to while loop. See here, we have not condition of serial dot available greater than 0. So we directly using this function. Okay, we are repeatedly calling this function. And then here, we are not reading any data from buffer register. You can see simply we are putting some random numbers ranging from 0 to 100. And the object was number. So simply that was the code, yesterday's code. In today's code, we have modified this. We have added this first condition to check the data is available, the buffer register. And then we are reading the data and we are putting that data into this object from ESP. So other clients can read this data. So whenever we will type some data into serial monitor, other clients can be able to, which are subscribed to particular topic, will be able to read this data, whatever data we are sending from ESP8266. So whenever we are sending any data from microcontroller, which can be PIC18 for 18F4520. So using that microcontroller, we can send sensor data serially to ESP8266. ESP8266 can read data using this function. It will check for the buffer register first, and then it will read that data. And whatever data which it has collected, it will send that data in from ESP using this object to the other clients using AWS IoT. So that is what we have done here. So we will understand how to create JSON document here. First thing. So there are 3 levels. We have created 3 levels. You can see the first one is root object, and to root object we have attached this user. So first object is user. After user, we have created data, and in data we have again added from ESP. So whenever we send data, we will be able to observe whatever data we are sending. Then we will understand what this means. Okay, how we have created the documentation and how we can represent it practically. So we'll understand in that in serial monitor. We are printing it. You can see here. So after this receive code, we'll understand the receive code first. So whatever data which is coming to back to the ESP8266 from other clients is in JSON documentation format. So we will receive JSON doc. So we have to convert it into simple string. So to do that, we have to use deserialization function. So how we can do that? Simply go to Google and search deserialization. We'll find all the required information over here. Deserialization JSON. And over here, you will find some examples also. Okay, see here examples. So there is one JSON document you can see here, and to deserialize it to into normal string, what we can do, constant char pointer you can see here, world, and we are reading doc. So after, we have to call this function first, deserialization JSON. First argument is the doc, which is we have declared here, static doc JSON document 200. 200 is the capacity. You can learn about this capacity and other functions in the documentation of JSON library. So we have declared here this documentation, and we have to deserialize. So first object is argument is this doc. To in first argument we have to assign to which we are going to deserialize this JSON file. So first argument is this doc, and second is your JSON documentation which you have received. So we will simply use that. You can see here, after message received, we are copying it character by character into message string. You can see here, we are adding one by one character into this string, and then we have defined first this string, and then we are adding characters to it. And after completion of this for loop, we have assigned this message in to message string. Then static JSON document, the same thing we have declared over here. We use this line, over here, and we have added one other function to filter. So in payload, there can be possibility of having so many objects in a single payload. A payload is nothing but data coming to the client. So there can be possibility of having multiple objects, like in state reporter there is command. Under command there can be possibility of having temperature, moisture, data. It can be anything. But from those all objects, what we want to filter, we want to filter out this data, this particular data. So to filter that data, we are going to use this static JSON document. Capacity is 64, because after filtering, data must be less than what is the actual document size. So we are using this filter object and use this syntax to filter out whatever data you want, all the objects you want to filter. So first level you have to put first, second level you have to first, second, and third is third. So we are using 3 levels of JSON payload. So that is why I have arranged it in 3 levels. You can see here, first level, second level, third level. If there are 4 level, you can simply add another one. If there are 2 level, you can just delete it. Okay, simple as that. After that, you have to call this and assign it to this error. Okay? If there is some error in deserialization, it will assign to this. Return type is boolean, true or false. You can see here we are checking for the error. So after deserialization JSON calling function, first argument is doc message string. You can see here. So deserialization JSON, first is doc, which we have declared, then the JSON, the whatever the data you have received from other clients, you have to put a second argument. And you can see here there is third argument as well, as deserialization option filter. We have applied it. So after filtering, it will only filter whatever the objects we want. Okay. So I simply want state reported command, and I want to read data against the object of command. So that is what this line does. Simple. After this, we are checking for the error. If there is some error, it will be true. and if there is no error, it will be false. So simply it will skip this part. After that, you can see here auto. Auto means we are assigning, we are detecting what is the data type of data against this particular object command. So we have to convert. We cannot directly take this doc and put it into string. Okay, we cannot convert it into directly string. Convert it into particular data format or the specific data format we have received. For example, we have received against command object as string data or the number data. So it will detect that auto keyword, and then we are converting it using as this function. So simply use this one. This is the syntax to convert it into string. So after that, you can see that we have serially printed whatever the data against this command. So it will give the data against this command object, and we are going to save in this data too. And after that, you can see if we have received, we are checking against this command that we have received LED off, then we are going to make it high as D0 pin is inverted. We are making it, if we receive LED off, we are making it high so that we can turn off the LED, and otherwise we are using this else condition. Okay, I will just simply make it else. If not this, run this condition or the check for this condition. So try to understand this simple code. This is about received message. Now instead of controlling LEDs, we have controlled the LEDs. What you can do, whatever the data you are receiving into ESP8266, you can transfer that data using UART to your microcontroller. So that microcontroller can take actions depending upon whatever command you have received or whatever the data you have sent to the microcontroller. So it is not the thing that you can only able to control the LEDs. You can be able to do anything you want. You can control other GPIO pins of ESP8266. You are able to send data serially to the microcontroller as well. And depending upon that, you can take any action you want. Okay. So this is about a receive code. Now what we will do, we'll simply run this code. Okay. So before compiling, we have to add the credentials. We will start with the first SSID and password is the same. And the time zone is also the same. We do not have to change. Every time we do not have to also change this MQTT host also, because every time it is going to be for each account, it is going to be the same. If you change the account, AWS, the sign in account, you have to change this. Else it will be same for all the things you are creating into AWS IoT. So I will just keep it as it is. After this, we have to add certificate. The CA certificate is also going to be same for the all the things you are going to create. It is not going to change as it is server authentication. And in case of server authentication, the certificate file or the content into certificate file is going to be common for all the things. So we will simply what we will do, we will change the client certificate and the private key. So we have downloaded that. I'll just simply go to downloads. You can see here AD14, AD1440, and AD. So you can see all are ranging in the same numbers. You can see the names as similar to each other. So they are related to each other. You can understand by that. Simply to verify, just for the one more time, you can go to AWS and go to this thing and go to certificates. You can check here. So AD1430. Simply select the certificate related to this name. AD1430, AD1430, AD1430. Okay, same. So what we will do, we are going to change the certificate, and this one private and this one is public key. Public key we are not going to need, so I will just simply delete it. Right click on it, edit with any editor you have. So simply I will copy the entire contents, Control C. I'll close this one, and we have copied the content of certificate file. Then I'll just delete this and Control V. We have added the updated content of credentials. Now next is this private key. I will open it again, copy the contents, Control C, and select contents of this, delete it, Control V. Let's see, we have copied this one also. To verify one more time, what you can do if you have some confusion with the CS certificate, okay, CS certificate, we will just verify the contents. Okay, go to downloads. This is the CS certificate we have downloaded. I will open it. You can see here the MIIDQTCAA, or you can just check this last QVVG5. I will open it. You can see QVVVG5 and whatever the initials were there. So for each thing you are going to create, all the CS certificates are going to be same. The only things which are going to be different is this client certificate and the private key. So everything we have followed now. Now we will just confirm this one. Okay, you can just go to settings. And find it over here. AP, and you can see FV9WNDE. Just we will check that also. See, APWED FV9WNDE. This is the same one. So simply what we will do, I will just simply upload this code to the ESP8266. Now I have connected ESP8266. You can see that the COM port fine. Will upload this code and turn on the hotspot of my smartphone with the same credentials as project and computer 12345 password. You can see here. While it is uploading, what we will do, I will just open the MQTT box. So using MQTT box and default client or the test client of AWS IoT, we are going to control the LEDs. So I'll simply open this one. So we have opened the MQTT box. We are going to create new MQTT client so we can repeat the procedure. So it is still compiling. It will take some time. Okay, now it is uploading. So there is one thing we forgot to update this thing name. So what we'll do, I'll just simply ESP8266 control. Yes, I'll simply again upload it. Okay, done uploading. We'll check if it gets connected. Okay, it got connected to the mobile hotspot, and now it is trying to connect with the MQTT broker, which is AWS IoT. If everything we have created is correct, it will get connected. Now everything is working fine. So what we'll do, we will set up MQTT box to control ESP8266 and observe the data from ESP8266 also. So to create new MQTT client, just click here. So give name as we'll give ESP, same name as thing name we have created 8266. You can give any name you want, doesn't matter. Control. The protocol is MQTT TLS. Add here host name. To get host name, you can just simply go copy from here also, or you can go to AWS IoT console and go to settings. From there also you can copy this. Control V. I'll just check if recording is on or not. Yes. After this, uh, don't change anything. Just add the certificate files. The first one is the CA certificate. Click open. After that, client certificate, which is this one. You can see the icon as certificate. So you can identify it. After that, client key, which is this one. Just make sure that it is private key. We can see that the names of these certificates are overlapping on each other. You can simply change these names. Do not just change the extension of these files as PEM or CRT. You can change the name as certificate and private only. So you can see it better. After this, everything is okay. We have done. I'll just click on save. If everything is correct, it will get connected with MQTT broker, which is AWS IoT. Simply, what I will do, I will just remove this file, and what I will do, I will just add this CA file over here to see just what happens. You can see here connection here. So you must add the respective fields with the respective certificates. Okay, I have added this CA certificate over here. Now it is not working. You can see. So just simply add the client certificate over here and then click save. Now it will get connected. You can see that. After this, what we will do? We will first send data to other client. The other client is MQTT box. So we must be subscribed to the channel to which we are publishing from ESP8266. So I will go to code. You can see here to which topic we are publishing. You can see MQTT publishing topic as this. I'll just simply copy this one. Control C. Now MQTT must be subscribed to this particular topic so that it can receive data, because we are sending data from ESP8266 to this topic. Now to receive data, you must be subscribed to that topic. The thing name is, you have to change the thing name as what ESP8266 control. This was our thing name. Just simply subscribe to it. And whenever we write some data serially, I'll simply write something here. Just close this one. Okay, now we can see it better. So I will send some data. So 1, 2, 5. See, we are sending data. You can see sending. And after sending data, what was the data? 1285. You can see we received the same data into MQTT box. Now what we will do? I will send some string as hello and hit enter. You can see we are sending another data. Hello. We have received the same data from the same object. This is called as metadata, which can be used for saving purpose. Okay, you can save using the timestamp. There is timestamp involved in this metadata. So retain, false, publish. You can see the length of data, the bytes received, everything is in this metadata. If you want to minimize this metadata, you can just simply click on this one. You can minimize it. We'll do few more experiment. Like I will send some 7, 8, and I will add some characters. Yes, I will hit enter. You can see we have received 7, 8 AS. Now what we will do? We will send data from again ESP8266. I will just clear it, clear output, and then we will receive the same data into default client, and default client is here, this MQTT test client. So we need to subscribe to this particular channel. What we will do? I'll just copy this one, Control C, and paste it. Subscribe it. Now what we will do? We'll send the data. You can see the screen is now empty here. There is nothing. So we'll send the data. Also, we will what we'll do? We'll subscribe to this one also. Now we are subscribed using two clients. I'm using MQTT client and also using this default client. So we are subscribed to the same channel using two different clients. See what happens then. We'll send data as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hit enter. You can see we send the data from ESP8266 and then we receive the data, user data from ESP8266. See the hierarchy, see the levels. This is the first level, this is the second level, this is the third level. And also in MQTT box, we also have received the data, same data. Okay. As it is in the same line, you will not be observe it that clearly. But in this client, you can see it, the levels also. You can observe the levels, the first level, the second level, and the third level. In the third level object, we are putting the data. So that is what I was talking about. See here. So first is root object. What is the root object? You can see the user. So we'll just compare with the code. Close this one. The root object, root dot create nested object. So user. Okay. So user has to be first. You can see user. After that, again to this user, we have assigned this variable. So state dot create, again to that object where we want to create next nested object as data. You can see we have created data, and again from data, if you do not want to create further labels in your payload, do not add this create nested object. If you want to simply put the data, you just need to use the variable against this nested object. You can see here we have used this state, and in state in square brackets we have added the from ESP, and we are putting whatever data serially available. You can see the from data there are no further levels. From data we are putting just data in front of this object. So that is how you can do it. You can create multiple levels, you can decrease levels, you can make a single level also. It does it up to you, or it depends upon your project. Okay, so this is how we can do this. Now what we will do, we will try to control LED of ESP8266 using both the clients. So what we'll do, we'll first do with this MQTT box. I will add publisher, and after publisher, you must add first the topic to publish. So ESP8266 is subscribed to which channel? You can see here, project sensor temperature. So it will only receive data from this topic, subscribe topic. So whenever you are sending some data to ESP8266, you must send data over this particular topic. Yeah, I will just simply copy this one. Instead of temperature, what we will do, I will just again upload this one also. Project, instead of project, I will make it project and do data, capital data, and command. So we are sending some command to the ESP8266. We have to upload the same code again because we have made some changes. I will simply copy this one, Control C, and then I'll put it here, Control V. Now we are publishing data to this particular topic. Now what we'll do, we will create our payload. So to create payload, just simply add this, and after adding, define the labels first. See the code. So there are three levels. First is state, reported, and command. We have to form the data. Okay, you can just simply copy this one. Okay, what I will do, I will just copy this one. Control C. So just to take the data structure, okay, because we are sending in same and receiving in the same structure, and we will make few changes. I'll delete this, Control V. What we will do, we will change these names. So first name was, we are filtering the data, so it must be check for the uppercase and lowercase characters. I'll copy this one, Control C, Control V. Instead of data, we want data, and then it was command. And we are checking for which condition, for this string. We are comparing this string. So we must send either of these strings, LED off or LED on. So first, by default, it is on LED. So what I will do, I will make it off. Instead of this, make LED off. So we are sending this data. Sorry, it is not state, I think. State reported command. State reported command. Okay, I changed this topic. Okay, I was confused with the topic to subscribe and this one. So we must create payload according to this one. So first is state, reported, and command. State, reported, reported, and command. C was small case. State, reported, command. I'll just check for one more time. State, reported, command. It will filter this data. Now I'll turn on the camera. You can see now, you can see the blue LED is glowing currently. Now what we will do, I'll just go to serial monitor, and then we will publish it. We are going to publish it. You can see it stopped glowing. You can see what I will do. You can see the data received also. LED off, because in the code we have printed this data. Whatever data we are receiving, we have printed serial print data. After converted into pure string, we have printed. Now what I will do, I will make it turn on. To make it turn on, what was the condition? This string. I will send this publish. You can see it started glowing again, and we have received the data as LED on. Okay. I have not added the print ln function. That is the reason it is printing in the same line. I will make it off. It stopped. Okay, I have clicked on publish. I'll again make it on. You can see we are controlling ESP8266 LED using this MQTT client. What do I do? I'll just simply copy this entire thing, Control C. We will control the LED using the default client also. Go to publish and change this message at Control V. So we are adding this payload to message payload, and to which topic we want to send this data. This topic, Control C and Control V. I simply publish it. What is the condition now? It is turned on. I will make it off, and then I'll click on publish. You can see it stopped glowing. I'll make it on again. It started, and in serial monitor you can see the data received. If you want to observe it more clearly, you can make it a println instead of print. Okay. Now parallelly, what we'll do? I'll just open this and add Control C. We will do the communication parallelly. We'll subscribe to it also. Now it is turned on. I'll make it off. First thing, what we'll do? We'll send some data here. I will send ESP8266. I'll hit enter, and after hitting enter, you can see we have received the data to this particular topic as ESP8266 because we send this data. So what we'll do? I'll publish it. Now currently LED is on. What I will do? I'll make it off using this payload. Publish it. You can see we are turning it off. Now instead of these software clients, what you can do? You can control the LED or any other GPIO pins of ESP8266, or you can send data serially to the microcontroller using your Android application. So in Android application can be another client to the MQTT broker. So in tomorrow's session, we are going to integrate our application, Android application, with the AWS IoT. So we saw how to control LED, how to send data from ESP8266 to these clients. Now client can be Android application and data can be received from microcontroller. For example, in non-liquid level measurement, we are receiving data of liquid level, current level of liquid, non-conductive liquid. We can collect that data into microcontroller. We can send that data using UART protocol to the ESP8266, and from ESP8266 you can send this data to any cloud available. In our case, it is now AWS IoT, and from AWS IoT you can send that data to your Android application for real-time observation of that liquid level. So this is how we can complete your project. Okay, so today's part of LED control is completed. Now what we will do? I'll simply close this one. And before starting with the Android application development for AWS IoT, what we will do? There is one uh, need of creating one key store. Now, what is the key store? Just simply study that. Key store is a concept. You can see in case of Android, we have added this credentially as we copied the content of certificates and we pasted it here. So this is how we have added the credentials in Android, in Arduino IDE for ESP8266. In case of MQTT, we directly have given the path, or we have selected the files, certificate files directly over here. But in case of Android Studio, you cannot give or the copy the content of these certificates and directly put it in your code, or you can just simply add the files, certificate files in your code. It doesn't happen like this in Android Studio. To do this or to add credentials so that your Android application can connect with AWS IoT, you must create a key store. So today we are going to, in the remaining time, we are going to learn how we can create key store. So that key store is nothing but credentials for Android application to connect with AWS IoT. So today we will learn how we can create key store. So what are the tools are required to create this key store? We'll learn this. So first thing, uh, we are going to need is this OpenSSL. Okay, OpenSSL, you have to install this one. It comes in binary or the source files. You do not have to download this. If you simply Google on OpenSSL, it will not give the installation file. It will provide you with the source files, and we do not want that. I will just show you. We are we are here in this. Okay, if you simply search OpenSSL, by mistake search this. Okay, you will open this certificate. Sorry, this website. In under download section, you'll find it is very difficult to find this particular OpenSSL installer. Okay, you can see here the OpenSSL TZ. There is no proper installer available. It is very difficult to find it over here. So instead of doing that, saying OpenSSL, what you can do, just type OpenSSL Windows installer and hit enter. And open this site. Okay, XOL pin www. You can see I have opened the same website over here already. So first thing you can note down this because the softwares or the tools are required to create key store. So first one is OpenSSL, and to install OpenSSL you first download it. To download it you have to go to this website. So just search this keyword OpenSSL Windows installer and then open this. After this, download the OpenSSL for Windows installation package. Click here. Okay. Now here you can see all the options available. Just select the first one. After selecting the first option, scroll down a little. You'll find this all the download options. So select the second one. Okay. So my Windows machine is 64-bit. So I will just Win64 OpenSSL and the 60. Do not install the light version. It is light version. Install this one and download exe extension is executable file. Okay, I have already downloaded it. I'll just cancel it. After this, the second tool we are going to need is Java. There are two methods there are so many methods actually, but two important methods from which you can create a key store is using OpenSSL and the Java key tool available. Okay, and the third one is you have to go to this website. You will find this Portacle. Portacle is second one. So I will just show you how you can do it first. After downloading, just download this one, this file. Then search as GRE for Windows. And do not go to oracle.com. It will tell you to sign up. It will take 3-4 days. Okay, just go to www.java.com. Open this one and you can download it from here and then install Java for your machine. I'll provide the links for these websites. And after this, you have to install this Portacle. Okay, this Portacle. We are going to need these tools to create key store. You can see I have already downloaded these tools. You have to unzip Portacle and you can see the option available. Okay. Now I'll show you how you can convert or create key store. Very important thing is you have to use command prompt, the command window CMD of Windows to create key store. So these are the commands. Okay, we are going to use only this first command. Okay. So first we have to convert or create key store into this format pkcs12 key store. And to create this one, we need this command, first command. Now to execute this command in command prompt, you must add the OpenSSL to the environment path. But we do not have to do everything because that will become so complex. Instead of that, what we can do, just after installing the Portacle, sorry, OpenSSL, go to directory of OpenSSL. In C, you will find in program files, find the OpenSSL somewhere. And see here, OpenSSL Windows 64. Just open it. And from there, go to bin. You'll find it over here. I already have created this key store. You can see here. And after this, you have to double click on this option. Now what we will do, we will enter the commands. So before entering the commands, we must add the certificates. I will delete the certificates I have already added. Delete. I will delete this key store as well. The private. Close this one. Okay, it is working. Now whatever the certificates you have downloaded initially while creating the thing in Amazon AWS IoT, you just copy this one. Two things are required, the private key and the certificate. You don't need this server authentication key. Just copy these two. Control C and go to this directory. Okay. C program files OpenSSL and you can paste it here. Control V. Continue. Okay, we have added these two files. What we'll do, we have to type these names of these files manually. So I will just simply rename them. I'll just make it private.pem key, hit enter. I'll remove this key extension. Yes. Okay. Private.pem. After this, rename this one also. Observe the steps carefully because if you miss anything, any step, your application will not get connected with the AWS IoT. Hit enter. Okay, now we have renamed our certificate and the private key. Open OpenSSL. I will just copy this command. Now we are opening directly the command prompt of OpenSSL. So you do not have to copy this keyword also. If you are adding this in environment path, then you have to add OpenSSL. Else you just copy from here. So see, I think it may not get pasted over here. I will try. Okay, it got. So we'll edit this one. So you do not have to change anything here. Sorry. Okay. You don't have to change these keywords, first keywords. Okay. I will tell you the which thing to change. The first thing, whatever name of key store you want to give, you can give here. So I will make it as IoT key store. IoT key store. Okay, .p12, it is the format of that key store. In key, you do not have to change. Now add this file, private key file name. Just remove this and type whatever the name of your file. So name of our file, private key file is private. And after that, certificate. Certificate .pem name. Now you have to provide the alias name. We just remember all the credentials you are putting here, certificate name and the key store name, because later in the Android Studio we are going to need this alias name and the passwords. Now I will give alias name as AWS IoT. AWS IoT. Even though if we have added everything correctly, if I press or hit enter, it will give error. Okay, you can see here can't open certificate.pem file because you can see here, even though it shows its extension as .pem, its extension is not pem. Certificate.pem.crt. If you go to properties, you'll find the as extension file type of this file is .crt, and if you try to rename it or change the extension, you will just get this one. You will not be able to see the .crt part. So what you can do, instead of just writing .pem, add again a dot and crt and then hit enter. Now it will ask for password. So remember the password you are entering here. The password will be 1 2, whatever password you want to put, you can put. I will add just 1 2 3 4 5 6. Hit enter. It will now show the password you are entering. Okay. Then again hit 1 2 3 4 5. Hit enter. It says that can't open this key store file for writing, permission denied, because we have not opened this OpenSSL exe in administration mode. So we are writing data in C directory. That is the reason it is denying the permission. What we'll do, I'll just copy this command, entire command. So next time we do not have to just Control C. I have copied it. I'll close this one, and again I will open it in run as administrator. I'll paste it, Control V. Okay, the same name. I'll just hit. I'll just check we have created or not. No. I will hit enter again. You can see 1 2 3 4 5 6. I will verify it. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, we have created our key store. You can see here got added IoT key store. So see the command. So it will export out as IoT keystore.pe. Extension is P12. I'll close this one. Now in Android Studio, this key store will not work. We have to change type of this key store. Okay, so there is another method. You can use this key tool available in GRE. Okay, you have to run this command also. Okay, so this will get a little complicated. So instead of that, what we'll do, we'll use the protocol. Now protocol is in download section. Go to protocol and open this file. Now you can see here, open key store files. Okay, click here because we have already created in .p12 format. So we are importing already created key store. Just click here, open key store file, and home directory. Go to okay. What I will do, I'll just wait. Just find it from here. This PC, see the program files and the OpenSSL. You can see OpenSSL. From there, go to bin. You will find this IoT keystore.p12. Click here, open. Now you have to type the password you had typed while creating this key store. The password was 123456. Okay, it will get added. AWS IoT was the alias name. Now what we will do? Tools, change key store type. Now it is PKCS12. We want it as BKS. Again, you have to hit the password 123456. Change key store type successful. Okay, now we have changed. Now what I will do? Hit Control S, and I will save it in desktop. So name of this is, we will give as ESP. Sorry. Uh, Again, I will give the same name, IoT Key Store, but in different format. It will be in BKS. IoT. I'll just make it key so we can differentiate and make it save. Now we can close this one. Now we have successfully converted our .p12 pkcs file, keystore file, into bks file. I'll close this one also. You can see here, I already had some trials. So that was earlier. You can see here this IoT key. Now in tomorrow's session, we are going to add this in our Android application. So I'll just simply open the Android Studio to give a glimpse of what we are going to do tomorrow. So we are going to use this BKS key store. So you can see here we have added the endpoint, the same host name, okay. The key store name. You have to put the key store name and name of key store or is IoT key. You can see here. Password was 123456. You can give any password you want, and the alias name is the same. I was conducting some trials. So tomorrow we are going to see how we can set these credentials, how we can add this key store into application, and how we can interact with the AWS IoT. So we can control ESP8266 and observe the data on the Android application. So this is for the today's session. Thank you everyone. Now forum is open for question and answer, and later we are going to conduct today's quiz 2 on cloud part. So sharp at 7:30 we are going to share the link in the respective WhatsApp groups. Okay, there will be no another chance. You can submit test for only once. If you try to submit it, it will not give you access. Okay, so make sure that, and 20 minutes will be there. You have to just type your name, full name, and name of your institute. That's it. And after that, you can just continue with your test. Okay, now so forum is open for question and answer. Sir, please explain the need of as constant char. Okay. You can see here, if I instead of doing this as constant char, and if I try to put this entire thing into serial.print, it will not get printed. Okay, it will give you error. You can try. I will provide the code. You can try it. Okay, so to convert this document or the data against this object, you must convert it into string. So auto is it will detect the data type of whatever data you are receiving. So to convert it into pure string, we are using this as constant. It is the syntax. You can just type this entire thing, okay, this one, into instead of data 2, and you will face some error. Okay, it will not print the data. So that is the reason we have added this. You can just check with it. We will provide the code, this code into resource material. What about the quiz results one? We are going to provide the result of both tests combined tomorrow. So we will declare the names of winners tomorrow. So instead of LED off on commands, can we automate same with the virtual button or something? Is there such automation instead of typing it manually. Yes, you can do. Simple. You can connect a you can create a Python application or the Android application. Okay, earlier we saw how we can control LED of ESP8266 using Android application built on Android Studio. Using Android Studio, we control the LED on and off. You can do the same thing with AWS IoT. You can create an Android application, add two buttons on and off. Can we create key store file on Portacle itself? Yes, there is one option is there, but I was personally facing some issues. You can see here. If I open this Portacle, so if you want to create new key store, you can select this one. And if you want directly convert it to BKS instead of convert it into PKCS 12 and then BKCS, you can directly convert it to BKS. Then we have to add the certificate file, okay, imports trusted certificate and the key pair file. Now in case of our key, the private key is key pair. So if I select this, all files, okay, this one is the private key. If I choose, it will ask for the password, and if I hit any random password, it will not take this password. You can see, could not read the key pairs file. It is asking for a correct password. I don't know how to get this correct password. Okay, there is no such thing on AWS IoT as well. They will not provide any password for the certificates to read. You can directly just read it into any editor you want, but it was asking for password. That is the reason I first converted into BKS form, and then I use the same password that we use the commands as 1 2 3 4 5 6, then it worked. So that is the reason we are first converting it to the BKCS file, BKCS file 12, and then we are converting into BKS. What is the significance of key store? Why we need key store? So I already have told you. In case of Arduino, we added the credentials. We just copied the content and pasted it here to connect with the AWS IoT. In case of MQTT box, we given the path to the files of the certificate, and we then added these files. But in case of Android, you cannot add the content or the copy content and paste in your code. You must create a key store, and then you have to provide path to this key store so that Android application can connect with AWS IoT. You cannot directly add this certificates directly. Okay, that was the reason to create key stores. Sir, share all required downloadable files in WhatsApp group. Thank you. Okay, in WhatsApp group, it will get so much confusing. That is the reason we are not sharing it in WhatsApp group. What we will do, we will definitely share all the downloadable material, all the resource material, the code files, everything, all the Android application templates, everything on resource material. Don't worry. Any other questions? License and key, these are different. Yes, license you get something from for you have subscribed for. The keys and the certificates are something to which you want to take access. So to get access to a database or to a server, you will need keys and certificates. But a license is something you will receive automatically when you subscribe to particular paid service. Can you take class for embedded C? So we already have conducted sessions on embedded C. We saw how to program PIC 18A4520 using MPLABX IDE. In those sessions, we have covered the embedded C part. We have already covered this part. You can just check the previous sessions starting from day one. Any other questions? Yes, we are doing it currently in our project of non-liquid level conducting. The question is, can peak be used in IoT application along with ESP8266? We are doing it now. So so that is the reason we covered the part of UART communication. So using UART communication, we are receiving data from peak microcontroller to the ESP8266, and from ESP8266 we are sending that data into uh, IoT clouds. So Firebase can be the cloud, and the AWS IoT can be the cloud. So tomorrow we are going to show the video of everything. Okay, we have created video of this entire project, that how we are going to receive the data of non-liquid level measurement, and then we are going to send it on databases. We are going to observe it in application as well. So tomorrow we will see that. Yes. So try to understand this thing. So whenever we are say typing over here anything, okay. So that means we are receiving data from microcontroller. It is very analogous to that. So whatever data we write here and then hit enter, this data will get stored into buffer register of ESP8266. So this means it is very similar. It is exact the same thing that we are receiving data from microcontroller into ESP8266. Instead of microcontroller, we are sending this data using this serial terminal into RX pin or the buffer register of ESP8266. So this is the same thing. Any other questions? Please ask. If processing is done by ESP8266, will we require peak. So it depends upon what project you are doing. Okay, if you need, if you are doing it as a project, a simple project, so you can just simply use ESP8266 itself. But if you are going with the industrial project or the any product, You must use microcontroller along with the ESP8266 because ESP8266 itself cannot handle heavy workload. Okay, you cannot control the big machines, motors directly using ESP8266. It will get resetted. After few days, it will do malfunctioning. Okay, it will not work properly. So you can do, can just simply try to create one project like uh, controlling fans and tubes in your own house, and after few days it will start to malfunction. You can observe the this malfunctioning of ESP8266. So that is the reason we must not control heavy loads using ESP8266. So ESP8266 is used as a mediator to send data to the cloud using from microcontroller. So that is the reason. If you are doing for a simple project or a hobby, you can do it with the ESP8266. But if you want to do some industrial project or the product, you must use PIC or the any other microcontroller along with the ESP8266. So that is the reason we are using it. So if you use ESP8266 only as a mediator or just to transmit and receive data from cloud, it will not get hanged. Okay, it will work properly for so much long. Now we are testing it for like 1.5 year, so it is working properly as a mediator. In case after resetting, will that not affect the Wi-Fi that we are using? It will not affect. After resetting, resetting is nothing. Resetting means nothing but reset. Setting your program counter again to its initial position, so it will start operating your program from beginning. Okay, it will execute your program from the beginning. So at the beginning lines we have code to connect with the Wi-Fi, so it will again get connected with the Wi-Fi. There is no problem. Thank you. Any other questions? See, this in the CMD I showed this entering of these commands. When I was trying it for first time like 3 or 2 years back, I have tried this for like thousands of times. Was this certificate.pm? I was not able to find the extension, and I was writing just certificate name and .pm, and it was giving the error. After trying all the possible commands, like thousands of time, more than that, then I got the correct one. The certificate extension was .pem.crt, and there are so many other possibilities as well with this. So you must practice all these things. If you just watch this and try to do it for the first time, you will face so many difficulties, and because of those difficulties you will stop. You will not get anything done. So you have to practice it so many times, then you will only get it. See, there are, I have learned all these things from, particularly speaking, from internet. Okay, from YouTube I have watched so many project videos, and I have read documentation available in AWS IoT. They are providing the official documentation. So it is very difficult because it is uh, little bit technical, so it is difficult to read and understand, but you have to try it. Okay, you can read the official documentation of that particular service like AWS IoT. There are so many resources and blogs are also available. Courses provided by AWS, Firebase, Google, everything is available on the internet. You can just go through it and learn. And after doing all those things, if you don't practice it, you will not get it. Okay. So having knowledge is not important. To make it possible, you must practice it. That is the thing. So you should try all these things practically by yourself. Then you will only get it. Any other questions? We have test at 7:30. 5 minutes left. So what I will do, the only 5 minutes are left. I will end today's session. Thank you everyone. And I will end today's meeting. Thank you. So please attend the today's quiz. Shortly we will provide the link